Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you've had a good week. Danny and I here have been sort of batting the ball back and forth, trying to figure out how we wanted to start out this episode. And what are you giving a squinty eye to me for, man? What's that all about?
No, it's a very sports. It's a very sports reference there, and I was trying to think of some geeky reference to throw at it.
I don't know, like flaming arrows.
We're
back
really
and forth?
dealing with prismatic wall with the decision maybe we had to do here. There's so many things that could happen on tonight's. And all the D&D geeks go prismatic wall. I hate that spell.
We were all just rolling dice to see like who was going to go first. And what we were going to talk about.
That's a good try, man. Yeah,
Oh,
we're rolling for initiative, and you failed.
This is why I don't play D&D. So
this isn't why you don't play.
I'm not.
You think we're a bunch
enough.
of nerds, and you can barely handle us. Being around.
I really enjoy my
nerds in school.
No, I did not. I was just as much a nerd.
I know you didn't.
I just never made it down into the basement. That's all. I just never made it down into the basement to play D&D games.
No, we're not Magic the Gathering players.
Oh, I didn't know.
Definitely 2 steps above them. Yeah.
Wait, but hold on a second though. Wait, but aren't you guys gonna go play D&D in a basement in Milwaukee?
Only because that's where Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons originally, that's where his spirit resides.
Right, but
we're gonna hang out around him.
I would imagine though, if you went around anywhere and said, where do you expect to find D&D players playing their game, 90% of the people would say in a basement.
But if you ask D&D players,
I'm not talking about D&D players.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, where do you expect to find a football player on Friday night?
On the football field.
Bar, drunken. I don't know. But where would a football player say they'll be? Or Friday morning or Saturday morning?
True.
There's some stereotypes. I don't know.
I know. All right, fine. We'll step away from the stereotypes.
The number of times I have played in a basement,
Can't even count them on one finger.
I don't think I've ever played in a basement, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because we haven't played down here. This is the first basement I've lived in, so it's definitely not here.
So
it's always been at the living room or the kitchen table, but it's always been adults. Yeah, Stranger Things, your little kids back in the 80s. Yeah, I didn't have a basement, so I didn't play in a basement. But if we had one, I bet that's where my parents would have put us, no matter what we were doing. You guys want to go outside? No, it's 116 degrees. Oh, okay. Go in the basement and shut up for 8 hours until it's bedtime. That's parenting in the 80s.
All right. So, well, okay.
Stranger Things is accurate then.
Fine. Well, I digress. So tonight, though, I wanted to talk about HomeDadCon stuff because there's some things that have really taken shape quite quickly. And on top of that, there's news that needs to be shared so that people are in the know on what is going on, because I feel like some folks are trying to play the aged old game of waiting back to do certain things for HomeDadCon, and this year more than likely it's got a tendency to possibly burn you and really bite you in the butt. So we definitely want to talk about that. I thought it'd be fun to talk about some upcoming speakers that are going to be on the podcast in some future episodes, and just kind of see where it goes from there. Sound good?
Sure. Yeah.
So
I think planning is a big part of what we do as an at-home parent, right? And planning is it's either something you must rely on or you end up having to do if you're not a natural at it, because the routine of your child's life needs to be very set. We've talked about that, a lot, that a child needs a routine. So in the same thing, we end up planning like even months ahead what we're doing through the summer, and what trips we're going to take, what we're going to do on someone's birthday, where we're going for the holidays or anything like that. And HomeDadCon is a big part of that planning.
Oh yeah.
So I know a lot of the people that listen to us who have not gotten everything set already are planning to do it, but they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing is rooms.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about rooms, so I always find it interesting that some people, if they know they're going, still wait till later to like reserve a room, even though like they it's pretty much like 99.9% like they're going. For me, like that's usually the case. I'm like, unless some catastrophic thing happens, my plan is to be there. And so as soon as hotel booking is available, like I swoop in and like immediately like reserve a room, because one, I know money's not coming out of my bank account immediately. It's literally just my name on a dotted line saying, hey, I'm coming, but it reserves me a space. I think that a lot of people are in a very crunch situation now, wouldn't you say, with what's going on with the rooms?
Yeah. We're now the convention is officially Friday, Saturday. So as long as you've got a room, hopefully Thursday night, but Friday night is really the only night you'd absolutely have to have a room, right? And you get the whole convention, but then you miss all the stuff ahead of time. Now, I know like my first convention, I didn't go early, and I got there on Thursday, I think, and I heard people had been there since Monday. And my thought was, what have you been doing for 4 days? And this was a ways back when there wasn't as many obvious extracurricular activities.
Yeah, they weren't as thought out. They weren't as thought out. No.
Yeah, it wasn't as planned or as organized or as known. Like there was like even the beer share was kind of something that you had to know somebody to find out about the beer share. Somebody had to tell. Now everybody was willing to tell you, but there wasn't an official announcement.
Yeah.
We didn't have a podcast. I don't know what we were thinking, not having a podcast, but okay. We didn't have all these avenues that we have now. And so, yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on, and I get it now. Absolutely. I would be there on Sunday before if I could. I mean, take a day, even if nobody else is there, just to nap. just nap and watch war movies, I guess. I don't know. I just, whatever dad thing I can do that means that I don't have to take care of anybody else for that day.
Right.
But I mean, we have activity. We have extracurricular activities starting on Tuesday, which blows my mind.
Yeah. And the ones on Tuesday, I mean, it's like, I think what guys are coming in to go to dinner basically is one of the things that I had seen on there. I was trying to get guys to go to the Cubs game, and I really wasn't getting much like talk back from people on that. And then Joe Saladino and I were talking about it, and he ended up scoring tickets for the two of us to go to the game. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, if everybody else wants to go, that's fine. Like, I'd be more than happy to help them, get tickets situated. But I was like, me and Joe are pretty well set. So, but it sounds like the guys that are coming in early are going to do a dinner that night or whatever, which is really cool too. So I think that's, just kind of a nice laid back start to it all.
And that's been, I mean, for me, some of the most fun that I've had is sitting around either before or after you eat, or, while I eat. Don't talk to me. I'm eating. That'd be I'm stuffing my pie hole. I need you to be quiet. Right. No, I do like talking then too, but the time that you have that you're settled down, with your friends or with people you've never even met.
Right.
But that, again, you have that relationship immediately. You have that community because this is another at-home parent. Yeah. And they know exactly what you're going through. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And just to sit there and, I mean, especially when your kids are young, the joke I make almost every year is, did you have to cut anybody's food up for them at breakfast? Did you? You didn't, did you? How cool is that?
Right. No
it's
kidding.
A great experience, right?
Yeah.
Did you have to, when you got up, did you have to get anybody else up? Did you have to get yourself up even? Could you have slept another hour and not really, if we're talking about Tuesday morning, you're not going to miss anything Wednesday morning, but the freedom that you suddenly get. But then that activity that you have, whatever it is, like, so let's go to dinner. Yeah. Let's go, let's go over to this brewery and try a flight of beers and see,
Hey,
what they have
and not have to
on
check
offer.
and not have to check with anybody to make sure that it, didn't get involved with any other scheduling.
Right.
That's a
We're
big one.
free and clear for a whole time. And it's a vacation. And we need vacations. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids are all older. They're like I said before, I'm in management. My job's gotten way easier than it was when my kids were at home. But still, when we go, like if we go for Thanksgiving, I just take my job on the road.
Right.
If we go for holidays, if we go summer vacation, we have a trip planned to go up to the lake. Cool. This just means I'm going to work twice as hard, and it's not going to be relaxing at all. And you go on vacation, a lot of times, we'll watch the kids for you. Will you? How long are you going to watch the kid? How long has it been since you've had a 5-year-old?
Yeah. Right.
You've never had a 5-year-old. Okay. Well, I'm not going to leave yet. I'm going to give you 30 minutes and let's see how you end up.
Yeah.
And, you just watch your kid chew this person up and spit them out and like, bring me another babysitter. This one's all used up, So
you're like the kids from Mary Poppins.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Just rolling through the nannies.
Right. Yep. How many is this now? Oh, that's 17. Yeah. Or Sound of Music. Yeah. That was the other one.
That was the other one. Yeah. Well, the idea of getting, like you said, sit down and talk with some of the guys that maybe you don't know, but you've talked to online is one of the cooler things, honestly, about going out to dinner with a bunch of the guys. I remember last year, me and Grady Black met up with Daniel Wilkinson and another guy. I can't think of his name, but we knew a little bit of who Daniel was, but it wasn't until we sat down with him and started talking to him that we find out that not only is he a stay-at-home dad, he's a rancher, and he is a pilot, and he flew his plane into Phoenix. And we were like, what in the world? And just the conversations that we had. And of course, Grady and him were just having a ball talking about air traffic control because that's great, because that's Grady's background. So, and for me, it was just entertaining to just sit there and listen to the two of them honestly talk about it. But yeah, it was cool because like we all connected really quickly, and none of us knew each other at all. And by the time we walked away, like we were pretty good friends, honestly, to the point where we love getting on the dad lounge and getting to talk and catch up on where where life is. So I definitely agree. Like that whole getting to go out for dinner with the guys is definitely top of the list.
Yeah, I think it's top of mind too. I've actually been talking to a couple of people, and I'm just like, I want to find one meal during the week that it's just like the 3 or 4 of us, that we know this is what we're going to be doing. We're all going to plan to do this. We're all going to go and sit down because we haven't talked at all. And some of us haven't even met in person. Right. And I want to make sure I meet him in person, of course, and hug him and all that, but figure out who they are. Cause like you see my, talking head right here, you don't realize how fat I am. Right. When you see me in person, you're like, oh, he is a big fella. Okay. And it's just one of those things that, and when you meet someone in person, it really solidifies who they are, and you already generally like them. I mean, if you're on a call with them for like the dad lounge, you guys are all kind of going to like each other, and then meeting up in person just extends that. And we have that with the dad lounge, we have that with book club, we have that with the weekly support group as well.
Yeah.
And it's these little groups that we've developed virtually during the interim that really that's an instant friend group, Yeah. But I guarantee if you are in none of those groups, and I know that I've done this to people, you walk around in a dad shirt of some kind, a dad will find you and say, hey, are you here for the convention? Yeah, so am I. Let's go talk, and suddenly we're best friends. So we just become best friends. We just became best friends, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, that's like, do you remember Cincinnati, the guy who walked through the lobby and he was just carrying all this stuff? He wasn't even a part of it. Like he was actually with his family. And we were like, are you a stay-at-home dad? think was what we said to him. And he was like, as a matter of fact, I am. And we were just
Right.
immediately telling about it. And he ended up coming up for the beer share that night. So
Nice.
that was but
yeah.
yeah, so that's the kind of camaraderie that takes place. But going back to what we were talking about though, room wise, Wednesday night is
Mhm.
gone. Like that
Gone.
day is toast. There are no rooms available for Wednesday night right now.
Mhm.
There are a slim amount of ones available for Thursday, I believe. And then there are Friday and Saturday, but even those are starting to tick down. And the reason is, here's the
Yep.
thing, like one, we've been allotted a certain amount. The hotel itself is completely booked because the Packers are playing Sunday night for I don't know if it's Sunday night football. It might be actually, with it being
Dun,
September.
dun, 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 dun.
But the Packers are in town playing, so that right there is going to draw a bunch of people into Milwaukee because then it's short drive up to Lambeau Field for the game.
Mhm.
Um, but the other thing is that don't let that scare you from registering if you haven't registered and gotten a room. What it just means is that we need to get you in contact with all the other people who are either have just a room with nobody in it, because one of the biggest things is that we try to do is get people to roommate up, and then that way, you are in the
Roommate up.
hotel. Yeah, roommate up like that.
I like
And
that. Yeah, yeah.
it works. So anyway, yeah, we would try to get everybody, with a roommate if possible. That way everybody's in the hotel together. And I have a
Yeah.
feeling this year, possibly, anybody who's coming in late straggler are going to be scrambling probably to find something outside of the hotel that's close by, just
Yeah,
because that's the situation.
yeah, it's the whole barrel is empty across the entire because of the football games coming in. We're
Right.
just we're we didn't know it. Actually, they didn't even have their schedule set until
They
like
did
3-4
not.
weeks ago, and it was boom. But I will say as of I went and checked to make sure I try to get my numbers right. What you were talking about, the rooms for as of the first week of the month, the 9th, we had 9 rooms available on Thursday, 14 on Friday, and 3 on Saturday in our block.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so they are. I mean, and that was on the 9th, and today's the 20th that we're recording this. So yeah,
Right.
get your rooms, guys. But the thing is too is a big part of what we do every year is having a roommate.
Yep.
Again, we talk about the convention, we talk about the community, we talk about bringing everybody together. And a big part of that, like for this year, I decided to go and get a first timer and invite him to room with me
Nice.
because I know him or I've met him, we've talked and what have you, but he's never been to the convention and kind of a newer member to the organization as well. And I thought, I've got people that I've roomed with in the past pretty regularly, and I kind of get in it's going to be these people. This is the person that I'm going to room with, or these are maybe the couple people I'm going to room with. And it's known that I'm going to share my room. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, I would actually someday like to have like one king room all to myself, but that's never going to happen. It's just, I need to split the cost as well as the time. Right. So but I got like one person, I said, hey, would you, maybe we could room together. And they were like, I hadn't even thought about that. And thinking about that conversation now, I think that's where a lot of people are. They just kind of assume, yeah, we're going to have rooms. No, but if you need a roommate, once you get your ticket, you get into the super secret HomeDadCon Discord server. You're
That sounds
invited
so
in.
bad.
It is. Well, yeah, it's members only. It's members only.
It's members.
Are you a member?
Without a
You're
jacket.
but it's ticket holders only. I'm sorry. Yeah, without that jacket, that goofy jacket. But for ticket holders, you get into that you get an immediate invite to all those channels, and we specifically have set up a looking for a roommate, and you just need to go in there and say, hey, I'm looking for a roommate for this day,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
if you don't get an answer, say it again in a couple of days, because there are people looking and the situation changes at all the time. I mean, we've had people in the past who've had to cancel their trip, and there we have one whole room with nobody in it. We've had people that are like, oh, my roommate can't make it, so I have an opening. And then there's also just, I got some floor space, or we're in queen size beds. Do you want to, we share the bed, and I'm good with that. So it's just that ability to find somebody, and we've made it as easy as we can. But dads, just want to tell you straight out, you're gonna miss it if you don't get on this, because we are running out of rooms. And we're not trying to panic anybody or like, hey, buy those rooms, you need to get them. But there's not going to be any rooms in the city very quickly.
Yeah,
we're trying to help you. We're not trying to push our hotel on you. The games, with the football games coming in, we're done. I mean, there's no way we can get more rooms, and there won't be other rooms available. So, I mean, they're booking up Airbnbs and everything.
Yep.
So,
well,
jump on it and get on the Discord.
Yeah, and hopefully that's enough lighting under the pants to get people jumping into figuring out how to get connected with that.
Moving, but not panic. That's what we're. That's
yeah.
What we're shooting there. That nice little. Hey, you're moving forward, but don't panic. We can handle this.
Yeah, we'll make it work. And two, like if you're in a situation where you just got questions or whatever, you can always reach out to the board or whatever, or any of the guys. Keith and Greg are on the committee. You can always reach out to those guys.
Brock loves to answer emails. Should we give them your email address?
No, no. You can email convention at homedad.org. That's where you can email convention
or secretary at home.
Yeah, Matt's gonna love you.
He's really good at his job. He can handle it. He's a pro. He can handle it. But yeah, convention, or the Discord is the best place to get more of an immediate reaction. But yeah, any of the board members, that's what we're here for. And I'll admit that. I don't remember my address though. I'm sure it's somewhere on the website. You guys can
find it. Yeah. So there's the room spiel for things. Now we have, over the next few weeks, like we've got a couple of weeks before we start getting them in, but we're going to start having speakers come on and talk. I'm very excited for a lot of, there's speakers on here that I've known, or take it back. There are people that I known who are going to be speakers this year that have never spoke before at the convention, and I am super pumped for them. And then there are those who are returning and are coming in to do a talk different from the one that they did previously. So that's going to be exciting too. Mm-hmm. And it just, I think, speaks to the depth of people that we get coming into the convention on a regular basis. So with that being said, the first speaker right now that we have set up for in July is Jeffrey Bernstein is coming back to speak this year. It's not going to be a fingernails that like he did last year. So I'm sure some people are like, oh man, but he's coming back to just talk I feel like on a very deep topic that I believe a lot of people are maybe one, wrestling with, two, just want more information about. And it's just the idea, he's presenting on exploring gender inclusivity. So to me, I'm very interested in hearing what he has to say. I know that actually is a huge passion conversation that he has with major corporations. Like he gets invited to talk to. So I'm excited that he's coming back to be able to present on that. What were your when you saw it come through, what kind of stirred in you?
For his or for all of them?
For his.
Okay, good. For me, because the subtitle of his presentation is how we as parents can make an impact on our collective futures. Gender inclusivity is incredibly important to me, has been probably most important since my son came out to me as transgender, and I started to understand what, how important pronouns are. As an example, we put it, like when I introduce myself a lot of times now, it's like, hi, I'm Danny Mercer. My pronouns are he and him. And it's just part of the introduction now. Most people would probably look at me. I present obviously as he, him. That's, it's pretty evident in everything that I do. But the reality of it is that shouldn't be the answer. That shouldn't be, well, you present as male, I'm assuming you're he, him, whatever. That's not it. It's actually what you decide you want to be called. There's nothing wrong with, whatever, you can be they, them, you could do he, she, if you want, you can do anything that you want, non-binary, it's all acceptable, but it's all really new to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's really not difficult. It just comes down to people really kind of a little bit of xenophobia. Wait, what is that? I don't have to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to change how no, you're this and this. But the other part of it for me is when I say, hi, my name is Danny. My pronouns are he and him. I'm opening the conversation for other people and pointing to people who aren't as obviously presenting or who aren't sure. And they don't know right where they stand yet on what their pronouns are, or what their gender is, if they're gender fluid, if they're non-binary, and wherever they're at, So that's a big part of what, again, my life, my child, it's become very prevalent. I've met a lot more people who fall into the LGBTQIA plus umbrella again. And I think it's amazing for Jeffrey to step up and to stand up in front of a group of people, 100, 150 dads, we don't know, and to talk about how very important it is for our collective families. Because a big part of the problem comes in when people don't have it in their front yard. It's not in their living room. So they don't care. They don't pay attention to it. But as fathers, as dads, we want to be teaching our children about all the realities of life, right? So understanding that there are people that are like this, there are people that are like this. It's just a standard thing that we should be able to do, but so many of us we choke up on the words, we're not quite sure what to say or what not to say. So, but my main point though, the first thing that struck me, honestly, when I saw the speaker announcement for Jeffrey, is he looks so good in his headshot.
Right.
And I'm so jealous because I look like a doofus. And I'm like, man, Jeffrey, look at you. Is that professional? I mean, but he does take photos all the time. That's, part of his life is taking good photos. He's got some amazing photos of the nails that he's painted. I've even got one printed out of one of his photos of his nails on my wall. It's cool. Just beautiful. Right. And it's just, he does such great artistic work. So sure, he takes better photos because he takes a lot more photos.
He does. Yeah. He's practiced,
He looks, I'm like, man, you looking good, man. So that's what struck me first, but I didn't want to start with that because that's pretty shallow. And I wanted to sound more deep and enlightened.
I'm sure at this point, he's probably blushing from hearing that. Someone who is new to speaking but has been to the convention before and also is going to be a guest coming up is Jeremy Haston, and he's presenting on things we are scared to share. I don't know a whole lot about what that entails. Have you seen sort of the proposal on that one at all?
I have, and I should say, I think I have. I haven't seen the direct one to the organization, like to the committee. I haven't seen the planning committee, like their copy of it. But he and I have talked about it a lot in the past, the thing that he's talked about in the past. And if it is that same thing, then it is going to be about miscarriage.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
we'll and again, that is a deep.
Oh yeah,
deep subject. I mean, there's a lot there. I think so many of us too have had that experience and just don't recognize how many other people have had that experience, right? And we've talked about this obviously in the past.
Yep. Because I can't remember who else it was. Myself and I forget who it was now. I want to say it was maybe Charlie, but I don't think it was. But we presented in Minneapolis on miscarriage as a breakout session, and had a good amount of guys show up who had never talked about what they went through, and it was awesome to just circle up and give guys a safe space to share what they went through and what they were going through. So yeah, if that's what it is, man, that's going to be that's going to tug on some heartstrings for sure.
Right.
So I have to have my tissues with me for that one. But he's also got a great personality. I've heard him actually speak before at Dad 2.0 because they
Hmm.
have like an open mic night where you can like share stories and stuff. And I know he got up and shared, and we were dying laughing because he's just got a great way that he presents stories, and he's
He
so
does.
animated.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that we will see that come out as well in the presentation, more than likely. Um, but at the same time, like he's just eloquent with his speech, and that's one of the things that I feel like when people get up to present, like that's what you look for in a presenter, is someone who can be
Hmm.
eloquent like that in that moment. So yeah, so I'm excited for Jeremy to be able to present this year.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great. I'm happy. I'm not looking forward to just seeing him again, but yeah, I think his presentation is going to be good.
Definitely.
So,
Um, Scrolling around here. Well, I'll say this for anybody who's been in the Dad Lounge, um, there are some key personalities that are always hanging out in there on a regular basis. And two of these people are so passionate about this Dad Lounge that they actually proposed a speaking topic on why it is so important to be a part of the dad, like why the Dad Lounge is so important. And so I was thrilled to see that in the speaker portion of the Discord that it was announced that Arvis Brakeen and Philip Fry are going to co-present on that topic. And
mhm.
to me, it just makes my heart so happy to see those two guys getting this
Yeah,
spotlight.
me
So
too.
yeah.
And
Oh,
I know we've been really trying to. One of the things, I mean, because we talk about it on the board a lot, is who's going to be the next board members, right? Because we have to replace people. You go 3 years, you burn out, you leave. I get it. You've done what you could do, but having the newer dads come in and take up the mantle in so many ways, and a big part of that, I mean, of course, they basically are taken over the Dad Lounge. They're running it, and they're
yep.
definitely promoting it and doing the amount of marketing that we do for it, and then having them step up then as breakout speakers is a big step towards supporting the organization.
Yeah.
And I think people don't really understand how difficult it can be to stand up in front of all of your peers, literally your peers, and try to talk about any subject. So
Yeah.
for those two to get together and say, yeah, we want to help people understand more about, what is it about the Dad Lounge? What do we do? How do we do it? What have you? But also, why is it important? And it
Yeah.
is really important. I mean, because we've talked about it. Every dad needs a dad group,
Well, in
and
these
the Dad
two,
Lounge is one of the most open. And go ahead.
yeah, and these two individuals, like the way that they got connected with the National At Home Dad Network and got involved with the Dad Lounge, their
Mm-hmm.
stories are so interesting in that, because for Phil, I remember he came to DadCon at home, the virtual convention, and it was like a week or two later when I decided that I was going to really like kick the Dad Lounge into full gear, and he messaged me like the night that we were going to launch it and was like, "Hey, when are you guys going to have a virtual thing like that again? Like that was just awesome." And I'm like, "Well, as a matter of fact, this is what's going on." And ever since that moment, he's been there, and
Mm-hmm.
he's got the most unique space for where he is when he's there, because he's always like in a part of his house or out like in this little hutch area on his property, smoking a cigar, watching football when it's football season and stuff. And I just love it. It's great. And then for Arvis, I was trying to find a very particular stay-at-home dad for Doveman Plus Care, and I had put in the other international stay-at-home dad group that I was looking for this person, and someone said you should talk to this person, and it ended up being Arvis, and he had a very unique story about sort of basketball and some stuff that went on in his life, and it didn't quite fit what Doveman Plus Care was looking for, but it sparked this relationship where Arvis was like, what are you a part of? Like, I'm in this group, but you're talking about a different group. And so he got invited over and found the Dad Lounge too, and was like, this is great. Like, I can talk to all these guys, like, and connect with them. And and he's also a very unique person for him, because he's usually walking around with his big tablet that looks like a phone in his hand, and he's ducking underneath doorways and sitting in the bathroom talking to us, just because that's where the tallest ceilings are for him. And he just shares so openly about what's going on in his life. And so I'm excited for these two guys to really just like share their passions for why they want to try to see more people come into the lounge on a regular basis. So that's going to be good.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. I'll probably have to see it recorded, the way scheduling is going and everything, but it's going to be great. Yeah. But I'm glad that we're recording it. Honestly, having all of this stuff, I don't think maybe everybody didn't realize it, but if you are a paying member of our actual network, then you get access to all of our tremendous backlog of recordings and the conventions and the breakouts and everything else. And it's amazing to be able to, because you can't do everything. And it also kind of gives you an option, which I really like, that if you're like, okay, I'm overwhelmed, I've got too many things going, I just need a break, but I want to go talk about this thing. I want to go listen to these guys talk about the Dad Lounge as an example. We'll record it. You go take a nap, do a little self-care, calm down, center yourself, take a shower, get back on your feet, and then come back in an hour, and we'll see you at the next one. So I love that we offer that.
And then give us a month or two to get it all online for you to be able to actually listen to it for real. Because that does take a lot of time to do that. But I love that you pointed that out, because as far as membership goes, if you're not a member and you'd like to hear and see some of the presenters from previous years, I believe like videos go all the way back to Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe we have Catherine Perlman's very first presentation. Her original. And so it's $35 and you get all that ability. Like, that's a ton of resources. So if you're teetering on like, is it really worth it or not? I'm telling you, it's totally worth it just for that, because I mean, the amount of tools and resources from the different speakers are amazing. And if you go all the way back to Orlando and you actually listen to Catherine Perlman's, be ready. Your mind's about to get blown. And she does such a great job with her presentation. So, and then
her book, man, and it changed my life. I mean, I
think it did a lot of dads.
I took a picture of one of her slides and I sent it to Marnie.
Right, we were talking about that last week.
I'm like, and I'm like, this is genius. Are you kidding me? And it's such a different thing than anything that I learned growing up. And we definitely didn't reward. But the times in my life when my crying, screaming child has almost broken me, or a cookie, or to stay at the store, or whatever it is, they're pitching a fit and I just can't handle it. I don't have to handle it. I just ignore it. Because if I give in and I give them a cookie, they're like, oh, look, I only have to scream for 2.3 minutes. And then Dad breaks down and gives me a cookie. Good. I can cry for 2.3 minutes. You reward them for it, they're going to do it again. And it was just like, mind blown. Definitely want to listen. If you guys have heard any of them, you should definitely go back and listen to Catherine Perlman. She is a professional speaker for sure.
Definitely. And then there's also Minneapolis with our Dr. Machen. She was amazing, and we've got her whole presentation as well. And that one right there, like, that's some gold as well. It falls right in the same line with Catherine Perlman's stuff. So hopefully that maybe like sparks a bit more of a push for folks to consider becoming a member. And to also like, if you're registering for the convention, like it's part of the process. Like you actually become a member and then you are able to register for the convention, because that's just part of like the organization's bylaws. But even if you're not able to make it to the convention, this is another opportunity for you to be able to get a hold of those videos. So yeah, so we wanted to put that out there, and I'll actually put a link in the show notes where you can go and look at that and see where you can actually sign up to become a member.
Sweet.
And so that's another good way. Aside from that, I don't have anything else right now. I don't want to get into too many more of the speakers, especially with the fact that we're kind of coming up against our time for this episode. So we'll just leave you hanging there until next week, where we'll have some more conversation. And also too, Grady Black's going to be at my house on the next time we record.
Yeah, I have heard about him making a trip through all the towns. Yeah, so that's cool. Maybe you can get him to stick his head in the
might have him hang out here for a little bit with us. We'll see.
Yeah, nice. Get him his own set of earbuds.
There we go. Exactly. All right. Well,
let him borrow yours.
Sure, that sounds great. Yeah,
don't ever borrow. No. Well, no.
All right. Well, anyway, I'll talk to you next week, man. You have a good one. And for everybody else, we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. I'm a dad, that's what I do.